We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Reese.
Here.
Councilmember Osk.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Fagerly.
Here.
Davis. Here. And Butterfield.
Here.
Councilmember Schultz is excused. So 8 present, 1 absent.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Proposed additions or deletions, Council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to discuss our open forum policy. Suggest maybe placing that as item E, unless someone else has a better idea, but 9E. And then I would move that amended agenda.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Osk.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
And Butterfield.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes. Next is the consent items. I'll call on City Clerk for any.
Mr. Mayor, council members, tonight for your consideration, I have the City Council meeting minutes of January 13th, 2025, the Willmar Municipal Utilities Commission minutes of January 13th, 2025, the Civic Center Arena Special Events by on-sale liquor license holder permit Spurs Corporation, except in the final project for project number 2305 Trot Avenue Regional Stormwater Pond, accounts payable report from 1/9/25 to 1/16/25. And for your information tonight, I have the finance report, the director's reports, and the review park board's applications.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
You got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
And Osk.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
We have nobody in the open forum. We'll go to regular business. Project 2505B, Professional Services and Preliminary Budget. Public Works Director Justin.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, council. For your consideration tonight, I have 2 items. The first would be a professional services agreement with Bolton and Mink for a drain tile repair west of town near Highway 40 in the Willmar Y. And if council would agree to that, the second resolution is adopting a preliminary budget for that project. So just a little bit of backstory on this. Back in July of 2023, the council approved a settlement between Burlington Northern and the city to repair a damaged drain tile that ran under the Willmar Y project, under the tracks itself. Stormwater, yep, that drains out to Hawk Creek.
Okay.
And so that pipe was severed during the construction and crushed. And so we are responsible for replacement and reconstruction of a new pipe. And so that's what this agreement would accomplish. That would involve boring under the tracks, pretty in-depth stuff. We have to follow BNSF's utility relocation procedures and permits and things like that. So it is going to be quite extensive. But this project would be funded through the Industrial Park Fund.
So the water is in a retention pond or what?
The water is supposed to drain out to Hawk Creek, and currently it comes up and it's draining into Burlington Northern's private ditch into their right-of-way. And they don't want it.
How big is it?
It's an 18-inch pipe.
Okay. And that'd be bored. Okay.
Yep. Happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Is that what's causing that field to flood in the spring, the one on the south side of 40?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. kind of a ripple effect going backwards. Yeah.
Yes.
Just clarification, it's just us that's responsible, even though this project was,
So as
Like-
part of that settlement, it was between Burlington Northern, the city, the county, and the state. This is our part of that settlement. The other entities have their own parts in that agreement.
I need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion
Second.
and we got a second. Discussion. Audrey?
just a clarification, this is for professional services first, is that,
Correct.
so this is for 89,920?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Gilbertson.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Fagerly. Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
And Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That resolution passes. Justin, take us through the next one.
So the second resolution for your consideration is just approving the preliminary budget for this project, which is included in your packet for the work that is to be done. Again, this is just preliminary. It would go out to bid, and hopefully we will get more favorable numbers.
Is this for engineering or what?
No, this would be for the actual construction project.
What's preliminary?
This is
The second item for $539,510 is the preliminary construction budget.
That includes the 89 we just approved for the design services, is that correct?
Correct. That will be total package, yes, I'm sorry.
All right, so we need a motion to adopt that resolution approving the preliminary budget for project 2505B.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion. We got a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Gardner.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
And Gilbertson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Thank you, Justin. Next is advertising for bids, project 2501A, 20th Street Southeast reconstruction. Call on our city engineer, Jared Folk.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Enclosed in your packets this evening is exactly what you just stated, the 20th Street Southeast Improvement Project 2501-A. This is first of a variety of projects slated for the 2025 construction season. Plans have been prepared. Bid date we've identified is February 19th, 1:30 p.m. And there's a resolution enclosed for your adoption this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. Discussion. Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to support this tonight. Before we get to the final stages in this, I think it would be good for us to see the impact that this has in future budgets. I feel like that maybe Mr. Odens can bring us something more than what we've seen in the past. I feel like there's been a couple times where we've green-lighted these projects knowing that we're putting them out for bids for bonds. Bonds come in, and then we seem surprised when we get around to having budget conversations in the fall of the year about like, where did all of this money go? And if we could see just the impact that that's gonna have on future budgets and the impact it's gonna have on raising the tax levy, that would be helpful.
Okay, any further discussion? Yeah, Rick.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So how many properties are involved with this?
I believe there's approximately 6. I don't have that preliminary assessment roll with me, but approximately that many.
Looks like most of them are bare lots.
No, we have Subway, the Elks.
Yeah, Subway.
Yeah, but their address is Highway 12, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it is.
I don't know.
Is the Elks on, address on 12?
All the properties accesses come off at 20th. I'm not sure.
Audrey?
So, thank you, Mayor Reese. The map does not show, am I correct in that the map does not show the new subway or that entrance off from 20th Street?
That's correct.
Okay.
Anybody else? Questions, discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Ost,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilbertson,
Aye.
and Gardner.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That resolution passes. Jared, tell us about the seal coating for this year.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Enclosed in your packets is a resolution authorizing approval of plans and specifications for the 2025 seal coating improvements, Project 2508. There is a map enclosed in your packet that identifies the streets being proposed for seal coating. Seal coating, as you recall, is a maintenance measure to preserve the useful life of these streets, which are in good condition. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that council might have.
Any discussion? We need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Ost,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilbertson,
Aye.
Gardner,
Aye.
and Fagerly.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion passes.
Thanks, council.
Thank you, Jared. We're scheduled for February 10th, 2025, 6:30 PM council work session. Leslie?
Yes. We would like to have a work session to have a discussion and bring you up to date on the broadband project that we've got going on. Also, there would be an up-to-date information on the comp plan, where we are with that too, and how the process of the comp plan will be continuing and how the council will be involved with that also. We're suggesting Monday, February 10th. If there's another date the council would like, we certainly would be open to that too.
Tom?
Yeah, with these work sessions, excuse me, with these work sessions in the past, we've always kind of brought up being, there was gonna be a vote that night, so this is gonna be strictly a work session, we're not voting on anything? I just wanna make sure that we're clear on that,
It's a work session.
okay.
Mayor?
Steve? I will be out of town this night. 6:30 on the 10th, I'll be on an airplane flying to Oklahoma. I just want to let you know I will not be able to attend at this date and time.
All right. Audrey, or Vicky?
Oh, no, I was just pointing that he was reading.
Oh, okay. Well, what do we want to do? I'm trying to do two things at once here. What do you think, Leslie?
That's I don't have any other suggestions unless you, because Councilmember Gardner, I think, are you being out all week, that week?
Yeah, I get back Friday around noon.
Yeah.
And then if you punt it to the 24th, unfortunately, I'll be on the beach in Mexico on February 24th.
Can we all join?
Sure, I'll be at the Sun Palace in Cancun.
I'll offer a motion to call for a work session on February 10th at 6:30.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We have a work session on February 10th. Audrey?
Is 6:30 the earliest we can do it?
That's up to the council.
Okay, all right.
All right. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Gilbertson,
Aye.
Gardner,
Aye.
Fagerly,
Aye.
and Davis. 7 ayes, 0 noes.
That passes. I have a question. We've got the applications for park board and so on in here. Was that just for information?
It's information the first time, and then at the next council meeting, it will be up for approval.
Okay, it wasn't on the agenda, so that's why I was wondering.
It was on the consent agenda under
Oh, on the
information.
consent agenda.
Yep.
All right. Any community pride announcements? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
E, open forum. Justin.
Yeah, I was just wondering if staff could walk us through what the current expectations are for open forum, what's allowed, what's not allowed, current policies and practices around that.
Just off the top of my head, because I don't have it in front of me unless Kyle does. But it's 3 minutes for one person with one single item. And it cannot discuss anything on the agenda, on the current agenda. And if it's a group, I believe they get 5 minutes as a group.
And what's the,
For one group, one item? Yeah.
so my main question around this centers around the current policy that that you can't speak to an item on the agenda that evening. And I understand that if there's a public hearing, that you should save those comments for the public hearing. What's the rationale behind not allowing a member of the public to speak to us about something that's on our agenda that we're going to vote on that doesn't have a public hearing?
Can you say that again?
So if someone's wanted to, for instance, speak to us tonight about any of the items on our regular business agenda, there is no public hearing tonight. What's the rationale behind not allowing them to speak to us tonight on one of those items?
Because the council hasn't even had the time to deliberate anyway on that discussion. And staff hasn't brought that information to you for you to deliberate on.
Okay, but then the member of the public that would want to address us on one of these items would not be allowed to do so.
No, that's my understanding of the policy.
Mm-hmm. That seems strange to me. I understand, like, if there's gonna be a public hearing, the comments shouldn't come in open forum, they should come in the public hearing.
Yes.
But I would think anyone that would want to address us on an item that we're discussing that evening, the open forum is more than the appropriate place for that to happen.
Yeah, Vicky.
If I recall, and I might be wrong, I thought they could only speak to issues on the agenda and not to other stuff.
No, I
Isn't
think they
that
can
what-
speak to past items.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Both of them raised their hand at the same time. Audrey, go ahead.
So if a member of the public calls in, has a question about something that's on our agenda, what's the best way for that person or for us to handle that? bring their question forward as a council member. I mean, if they talk to us about something versus since they can't talk about it and we don't allow them to speak. Once a motion has been made, the discussion stays at the table. So if someone.
Well, at the time that you're having the discussion, that's when you should be bringing that up. Yes.
Right.
When council's having that discussion, somebody called you prior to that, that's when you would bring that up, that you had a conversation with somebody and this was their viewpoint.
So if someone just sees it and comes to the meeting, they should talk to a council member before the meeting and ask them to ask these questions versus they're not allowed to ask them?
Let us find the policy first before I can answer that.
Okay.
Yes, Justin?
Yeah, I think it would just be good if we can find the policy and review that at our meeting in February. I don't know if it fits on the agenda for the next meeting. That would be my ultimate preference, but it seems like something to review.
I also received a call in regards to this. And the individual said that they were not allowed to speak in the open forum because it was on the agenda. So I think we need to review the policy and take a look at it. I agree. All right, anything else? Audrey?
As long as we're kind of talking about meeting protocols, I've had a question about the community pride announcements because we were sort of told for a long time, you can't just announce something. It has to be something good that's happened or something you're bringing forward. But sometimes there's meetings going on or things that I, as an individual, know that I'd like to share with the council, but we used to be told you can't do that unless it's a community pride announcement. So it doesn't allow for, I think, open communication about things that are going on in the community. And so maybe we can just clarify that one too.
Well, we can do that. We can put it on, so we have a discussion at a work session.
Well, if we're gonna discuss open forum, I think it's also, to me, open announcements kind of thing too.
I don't think there's any harm in doing so. Everybody okay with that? All right. With that, are there any community pride announcements? No?
I just have one thing, it's not a community pride though, it's in regards to the council. Because I have not heard from, I've only heard from one council member about the upcoming League of Minnesota Cities training in February, and I would like to know if anybody wants to attend. So
This is the orientation? By
yes, for elected and newly elected officials.
I need to respond on that.
And I don't know if any other council member wants to attend the elected official one. It is the advanced program, and that's in Plymouth, February 21st and 22nd, or Alexandria, February 28th or March 1st. So
Is that Saturday?
it's a Friday, Saturday, yes. So take a look at the League of Minnesota Cities or contact me and I will make all your arrangements for you.
Okay. All right. Anything else? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Or adjourn.